Hey everybody, this is Doa, and this is another StarCraft 2 replay broadcast. I'm pretty excited about this game. This is going to be one of two games that I'm going to cast between, well, you see it, NaDa on the screen and Liquid TLO. So, two of the most famous StarCraft 2 players right now. TLO probably the most famous, making a big name for himself in the beta, and now living in Korea, playing for Team Liquid, well I should say, the little app factory Team Liquid. That would be his entire team name. And NaDa, of course, who soon will be sporting an OGS in front of that name. That's pretty exciting. So TLO and NaDa are going to be practicing in the same house. I'm psyched to see what kind of replays come out of that. These two replays, by the way, this game and then the next game, which would make two, of course, did come actually from TeamLiquid.net. That's probably, I've done a lot of looking around in beta. I was looking for some StarCraft strategies, and I stumbled across TeamLiquid.net. And I've really never gone anywhere else since then. I mean, it's got everything. Although the people in the strategy forum may disagree with me, it really does have one of the most intelligent strategy forums for StarCraft 2 out there right now. Plus, you've got the place where Day 9 posts. I mean, the Day 9 Daily, everybody watches that. If you don't, you should if you want to ever get better at StarCraft 2. And, yeah, lots of other good reasons. But I did find this replay on their website. They just posted it yesterday, I believe. So I wanted to grab that and cast these games real quick because I think they were awesome. They also posted a replay of TLO versus Boxer, but it was a really short game, so I don't think I'm going to cast that one. If maybe enough people ask, I will, but at this point, not really planning to. So we see both players starting out their builds, things looking fairly standard for now at the moment anyway, not a lot of deviation from the regular. Players, of course, playing on Blistering Sands, which is actually one of my least favorite maps, but I don't really have a good reason for that, other than the fact that I tend to lose a lot on it. I can recognize that it's a pretty cool map, but I don't know, I just haven't had the best of luck, so I don't like Blistering Sands. But we're going to watch a game on it anyway. It's going to be NaDa versus TLO, and so it looks like NaDa getting a little bit of scouting. Looks like he may be considering doing a little bit of harassment. Nope, he's going to head back. Looks like TLO does already have that Marine rallied to that worker, but the worker is going to get away that SCV using those jetpacks to outrun the Marine on just his regular legs. Although I wonder if they're like metal enhanced legs with those suits. I wonder if they can actually run faster. Maybe it's just stim. So anyway, that worker able to get away. Looks like TLO returning with his worker too, so it looks like both players feel that they've got enough information, and also that Marine, of course, pushing them out, and NaDa putting a reactor down on that first barracks. So it's like he's going to be doing some heavy Marine play, putting down a factory, so most likely doing some Marine tank. That's usually the most common result of a barracks with a reactor followed by a factory, and he does have 2 gas going at the moment. TLO also with 2 gas, and it looks like we do have a factory coming out for him as well. No reactor yet, so TLO going to be a little bit behind in the Marine count early in the game, but usually that doesn't end up too big of a deal unless a player goes for a really early tank, and then he might be in some trouble. But for now, things producing nearly identical for both players. NaDa with 3 Marines out already. Let's go to the production tab. It looks like the factory did finish for TLO. It's just finishing now for NaDa. And it looks like a tech lab going down on that factory right away for NaDa, as well as it looks like we have another factory going down for TLO, so that's a little bit interesting. Some Hellions coming out for TLO right now, so he's going to be going into some sort of early Hellion play. Sending the Hellion out across the map to get some scouting info, maybe doing a little bit of damage to NaDa. Probably going to check out this Xel'Naga watchtower first here. Yep, just making sure that there isn't anyone lurking there, any Marines or gatherers. And it looks like, oh, we do have an armory going down for TLO. So TLO going some sort of build with Thors, it looks like. Tech Lab going down on the barracks. We're probably going to see that switch with a factory fairly soon. Yep, there goes the barracks. Let's go back to NaDa's base to see what he's up to. And he has a starport with a reactor, so it looks like NaDa going for more or less the standard TvT build right now, which would be Tank Viking. I'm guessing that's what he's planning here. Looks like a little bit of an incursion by the Hellions from TLO, but they're going to be able to be pushed back. They do roast 1 Marine, but that tank is going to make short work of them. TLO barely getting that Hellion away just in time. That was close, and looks like NaDa is going to do a little bit of a push here with the tanks and Marines. And that would be a, yeah, just about standard. I believe it's usually 8 Marines and 1 tank when people usually push out with that sort of build. And what does TLO have? It looks like first Thor is on the way, more Hellions, but other than that, just a couple Marines and a couple Hellions, so he may have a little bit of trouble holding this off. NaDa sieging up, though, at the choke, so it doesn't look like NaDa wants to be too aggressive quite yet. Gonna check that Xel'Naga watchtower, make sure TLO doesn't have anyone checking things out there. Meantime, it looks like we do have 2 Vikings coming out for NaDa. Still pumping Marines out of that barracks. Looks like he is going to be supply blocked for just a moment, but yep, supply depot just finishing in time. Nice job there. Looks like TLO moving out with those Hellions. And he is going to be forced back, though, by that tank with siege mode. He does have, NaDa does also have an SCV there ready to repair. Second siege tank rolling up. First Thor is out for TLO, though. So it looks like we're going to see a CTLO try to break this. 2 siege tanks and some Hellions. Those Hellions immediately roasting those Marines. And that Thor going to make short work of those siege tanks. The Hellions doing a little bit of damage. And it looks like TLO's scouting barracks not going to be helping out in the fight, but does provide moral support. And it looks like those Hellions finishing off those Marines easily. A couple more Hellions coming out for TLO. Although he does lose that Thor. Yeah, he did. How did I miss that? Yeah, TLO did lose that Thor as well. It looks like TLO moving in a little bit farther with these Hellions now, but there is a siege tank there. I think he's probably going to have to be pushed back, or he may just try to run by. No, that siege tank making short work of all those Hellions. Had a Hellion takes out his anger on that Marine. Looks like TLO intelligently parking that right by the siege tank, so it can't fire. But it looks like those Marines plus the siege tank are going to be able to take that out, although the siege tank does do a little bit of damage to those Marines, so nice job by TLO there. Looks like that scouting barracks still flying about the map, giving TLO some information. TLO also expanding, but NaDa does scan it, so NaDa is aware that he is going to be a little bit behind in the economy. NaDa putting out, looks like 2 more barracks at the moment. If we go to the Army tab, it looks like TLO slightly ahead, 50 over 43. It looks like NaDa is planning on pushing out again with these 2 tanks and Marines and an SCV to do a little bit of repairing. Scouting barracks getting some advance warning for TLO. Just a Thor, a Hellion, and 2 Marines waiting for TLO, so a little bit light. Looks like NaDa is going to turn around, though. TLO may have lucked out a little bit there, actually, because it didn't look like there was any reaction at all from TLO when NaDa came close enough. TLO going to work on those rocks, so looks like that barracks may be in trouble. Oh no, the barracks. Tanks sieging up. 3 siege tanks versus 2 Hellions, 2 Marines, 1 Thor. Looks like that Thor is taking heavy damage there, but TLO with those Hellions able to take out the Marines, and it looks like TLO is going to come out on top on this battle. I guess I would not have expected that. 3 siege tanks versus 1 Thor. That Thor is down to 7 hit points, so just barely pulling it off. TLO still looking like he wants to break down those rocks. Those Marines not going to be able to finish off that barracks. I always wonder what the Terran commander says to the guys he wants to fly the buildings over the enemy battlefield, especially with those factories. He's like, alright, I want you to take your factory and fly it over the enemy base. Looks like siege tanks taking out those Hellions from TLO. And of course, the person who runs the factory says, "Boss, are you sure you want me to fly my factory over the base?" And boss is like, "Yes, absolutely." And it looks like, unfortunately, NaDa getting his Banshee caught in the wrong place over those stores of TLO. So TLO easily taking that out. Not going to need to worry about that. Let's go back to NaDa's base. Looks like he does have a tech lab on both barracks now, so he's going to be pushing out some Marauders as well, which would be good against those Thors in most cases. Well, you need to have a big enough number of Marauders anyway, and small numbers, of course. Thors would destroy Marauders. It does look like that barracks still harassing NaDa a little bit, although it is getting lower and lower. That barracks stays maybe numbered. It is on fire. The commander of that barracks going, "I didn't sign up for this." And TLO pushing in with the Thor, but the Thor doesn't care about the barracks. The barracks will be going down. TLO just caring more about the destructible rocks than those poor men at that barracks. And the barracks probably is going to go down. I don't know why I'm so fixated on this barracks, but I just feel for the guys in there. TLO moving in with some Hellions into the main of NaDa, but NaDa is going to be prepared with a siege tank and a Marine Marauder ball. TLO forced back. That barracks still burning. Oh no, down to 65 hit points. TLO, no, your barracks. NaDa looking very strong with that Marine, Marauder, and tank composition. TLO looking a little bit sparse, although that is 3 Thors. That's going to help out a lot. NaDa moving out with those Marine Marauders. They are going to be able to shell that turret before it comes out. And the barracks goes down. Oh, the humanity. Oh, there's more where that came from. I guess we shouldn't be too worried about it. But TLO forced back, it looks like. And this is going to give the opportunity to NaDa to push out across the map with those siege tanks and Marine Marauder ball. Looks like Stim not quite finished yet for that. That one Hellion trying to be a hero, but he's not going to be able to do too much. TLO massing some Thors and Hellions up at his main with a couple SCVs in there to repair, and 1 Marine wondering why he's there. That SCV down to 1 hit point, so he's got to be fearing for his life as well. Looks like NaDa is going to move in. Stim going down. It did just finish. Those siege tanks making quick work of that Marine Marauder ball, but those siege tanks, did I say siege tanks? I meant Thors doing quick work of that Marine Marauder ball. And the Thors looks like they are going to be able to take out those siege tanks, although 2 Thors are very low. And NaDa GG's and leaves the game. Alright, so NaDa thinking at that point that he just does not have what it takes to defeat TLO. I mean, if we go to the income tab, TLO was getting significantly ahead with that expansion, so from there it was probably all going to be downhill with NaDa anyway. So a little bit surprised not a GG that early, but either way, a good game. Interesting to see that Thor play from TLO. I've been seeing him do that in a lot of his recent replays, going Marine, Hellion, mostly Hellion Thor, so I'll have to see how that develops in the future of StarCraft here. So anyway, if you like what you're hearing and seeing, subscribe please. We're going to move on to Game 2 between NaDa and TLO, and I'll see you guys in the next cast.